Meow. Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Taylor, slowly coming out of her flop. Welcome back to my podcast. Is it Single Girl Safe? Is it Single Girl Safe is the show where I review products, services, and experiences that makes living alone as a single girl so much easier or so much freaking harder. Season 5 is going on right now. It's emotional, but honestly, such good emotional. I'm processing a lot of negative emotions, but it feels so good to process this through something because one, I don't know, talking about it in your everyday life, it's just kind of like talking about it. And when you talk about things, you really want to make a physical action, or at least I do. And so it's really hard to kind of relive certain situations because there's no physical action that I can make towards it. And so just getting this out through my podcast feels like the best artistic release from it because yes, I make paintings, yes, I make dance, yes, I make clay, and yes, I make art around it. But as a person who is like a cartoon to most people, like when you're positive, people get where I'm coming from. When you're so fucking positive all the time that you're not even seen as a real person sometimes to people, you're like a flatline cartoon character to where it's like, do you even have emotions to process? And the answer be like, fucking yes, please make space for me to process this. And sometimes they give you space, but I'm obviously going through not really having that space, so I'm making it myself. This feels really good to make it myself and have my full voice within it, to where if I misspeak, I'm able to clarify for myself. Or if I didn't say enough, or if I said too much, either type of way, it feels great to be able to fully say for myself as opposed to be open for interpretation. I feel like I'm a person that's pretty open for interpretation a lot. And, I don't give a fuck. Like, people interpret what they want to fucking interpret. Like, I know who I am to the core, to where I'm just gonna be me, no matter what the fuck is being interpreted. But I'm being around people that I'm being interpreted so much, it's not really lining up. I most definitely want to have a close enough relationship where I could be all aspects of myself. And I'm talking about this in friendship and everything, like all senses, like just everybody around me. I want these relationships to be so deep to where it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's just that person. Like, even if they are acting in this way or that way, like, it's just that person, and I'm gonna protect that person and that personality, not because of just my infatuation, I guess. I don't know, that's a bad word, but I don't know. I do that for other people because I do that to myself. I get like this episode was gonna be about maintaining happiness while fighting self-pity, but I think it's honestly gonna be about giving what you have. People could only give what they have. And what I have for me is this positivity, It's like this positivity, this space, this understanding. And when it's not given to me, it does make me feel shameful that I even handed it out to begin with, but I shouldn't feel shamed about who I am. But it also makes me feel drained because, what I just had, I handed out and nobody's refilling me. And so it makes me feel drained. And at a period of time that used to suck more than it sucks now, because now I got a gauge on that hoe to where it's like people only give what they have, to where yes, this person may love you, but this is how they love you. It may not be enough love for you, and that is okay. And it is also okay that they're only giving out what they can. That's a situation where you would just have to move on to where you're able to get what you need while also giving what they need as well. Like, both parties need to be nurtured. I've hit like the last 2 to 3 best friends of mine has just been like energy suckers, in the sense of you must give all of this to them, but when it's time to give that back to you, it's just like, why would I do that? Like, me, it's all about me. And it's like that with you, but then with other people, you would see them give. And so in that case, you're just kind of learning, like connection in everything, to where some ports match. Like, I can't put an Australian port into my US little energy port, like I would have to, the cords have to match. So I'm going through that very much so, like the cords not matching. But as an Aquarius, like, I'm pretty universal. Most air signs are. Like, Libras and Geminis 100% are too. I feel like Aquarius are kind of like the papas of the air sign, and the Libras are the mamas of the air sign, and the Geminis are the babies of the air sign, to where it's just like, we are all, like, as air signs, we're pretty universal. We're a universal port, but there's special ports that feed back into us. And I don't know why it's so much harder as an Aquarius to find that, but when that does hit, bitch, it fucking hits. Like, we all know what it feels like. Like, your relationship with your best friend. Like, your relationship with your friend. It doesn't even have to be your best friend, but just like your friends, your school friends, your dance friends, your art friends, like the people that you're around and that you share a community with. Like, when those ports match up, that shit feels so good. But when those ports don't match up, a bitch feels drained. I feel like I'm fighting for my life. Yes, I'm talented. Yes, I deserve to be here. No, I'm not the best in the room. No, I'm not the fucking worst in the room. Yes, I'm more creative than the average. Yes, I could be guided in different ways. And should be, as all people are. Like, there's so much that comes with this, to where it's like, again, sometimes we feel shamed when everything else is making sense for everyone else, but you feel like it's not making sense for you. That's not something that I think we should feel shame about. I think it's something that we gotta look at our gauge. Okay, you want 100% from this person, but when this person connects to you, they could only give you 30. You may want 100, but they could only give you 30. You either accept that 30 of that friendship, or you get the hell out of there. But pushing for that 100 is so inappropriate, and it's a big way on why friends burn out who could have been friends longer if there wasn't a burnout session that happens, to where it's like, you would just have to match that energy. It's like, okay, you really like this person. You may want 100. All they'll give you is 30. Match that 30. Take your 100 back and match that 30. And that's just your 30% friendship. Acquaintanceship, girl. Like, it's really maintaining that medium. And that's a big lesson for me, because especially as somebody with so much to give, like, it takes months for me to burn out. And it's like, when you finally hit that burnout is so exhausting. And then it also puts you in the mindset of everybody hates you, because you would be quick to refill somebody, but when it comes to refilling yourself, you only have one on deck, but you just gave out to 10. And so it doesn't line up. It does not line up. So so this is talking about, like, the name of the episode is Maintaining Happiness While Fighting Self-Pity, but it's really about energy distribution gouge level and making sure to have a gouge on that hoe. Because, like, I don't know if this is just, like, something that positive people experience, but even my haters, shout out to my haters out there, like, even to the haters, like, you want to give this a full 100% hate to this thing, but it's not recharging you the way that it wants to recharge. Like, you gotta flip your gouge, And so I guess, how do I maintain happiness while fighting self-pity? That self-pity is shame, of course. It's just overall, like, maintaining that gouge. Like, I can't, even though, like, I'm, like, really, I just went through this. And so as somebody who's in their drain state, talking about this now, and, the world works in cycles, whether we know it or not. Like, even our 1 year has so many cycles, to where this next cycle of friendship I'm about to go through, I'm really being mindful on this gouge. Automatically, when I make friends, I'm like, these are my friends, these are my bitches, no matter what. 100%. You want my loyalty? Got it. Want my heart? Got it. Want this energy? Got it. What you need, bitch? Got it. And it's like, when I need that back, though, there's very few people that will do it. There's few people in my life that really match that and do not feel seen and not loved in my life, because got it, you got me, and I love that. That's that shit I really fucks with. But where I'm drained out is I gave too much to maybe some early friends too. It's like, there was some connections where I'm like, and I like my subconscious is rarely wrong, to where it's like, once I kind of once I come in and I'm like, oh, everything's matching up, everything's lined up, so you kind of like latch and you get comfortable, and then they start to not like you anymore. That shit hurts. You have to watch the gaze, just watch the gaze, to where it happens. Don't get too comfortable too early. Don't give out too much too fast. Don't expect too much from other people, and really match where they are. If they give you 30, you give them 30. If they give you 10, you give them 10. If they give you 50, but you want 60, and you can't live without that 60, give them 0 and they'll give you 0. It's finding that medium too, of like, yes, like, we could match, but if there's something in you that I need more than what is given, you also have to be strong enough to cut that off and give 0 completely, to where it's like, that 0 is better than receiving 40 and you're like aching for 60, but on the inside you would never get that 60 because of where they are in their lives. You just gotta walk away. And so I feel like that was a decision that I made with this friendship as well, to where it's like, why do I have to be mindful of you, but you don't have to be mindful of me? I want more than what you're willing to give me. And since it's a non-negotiable, which I'm going to talk about after this, since it's a non-negotiable, I must cut it to 0. And when I say 0, I fucking mean 0. And that looks different on everybody, because like, 0 with no beef is like a high and by. 0 with beef is, you are lucky that you are even looked at in the eyes, because I swear to God, you're just a floating body that is wasting space and stealing oxygen in my head. And so you have to determine where your relationship is with that person on what that 0 looks like. And then you also gotta determine how much are you, again, willing to give. Because as someone who has gotten drained out and who is alone, I live alone. It's not like I could come home to roommates and get like scraps of happiness or like even moments of hearing about somebody else's good day or even if their bad day. Like human connection itself automatically gives you like 5%, but without that, like, I'm drained the fuck out, and it could have been prevented if I had a gouge. So that's my advice. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Thank you all so much again for another episode of my podcast, Is It Single Girl Safe? The show where I review products, services, and experiences that makes living alone as a single girl so much easier or so much harder. If you're loving the vibes, check out more music by Jean Pierre. The moment he said I could use this song for my podcast, I went insane. All of his music is so fun and for the girls to dance to. Last update is to my Patreon system. Now if you subscribe $5 and above, you get free merch every month. Go sign up. Thanks again. See you next week.